What's up, guys? It's Caliber here.
And the Beast.
And, what are we coming to talk about today, Beast?
We're going to be talking about the Pulse 80 watt
Uh,
and X.
yeah, I love my Pulse 80 watt. But, I'm gonna start off by saying this. My Pulse isn't an 80 watt anymore.
Oh, right. It had the update. That's
Yeah,
right.
I have the update, which I will talk about here in a minute. But you got a big problem on your hands.
I think it's a problem just in generally the vaping with mods generally, and I think it's just something that needs to be kind of addressed. Mods have become more durable, obviously, lightweight and all that jazz, and they're fan like a lot of them are. You can get even on the cheaper spectrum now. Those ones are even good too. Um, but there's always one problem. I think I don't know a lot of mods that have a cover for their data transfer slot for like your micro USB um, or whatever connector they decide to go to. Well, you were suggesting they should go to C or whatever, but it doesn't really matter on that point which one they use. But the point what I'm making is they need to have. I think they should put like a plug of some sort, even if it's like a little grommet piece or whatever it is, to kind of fill that in because we were both going to be doing the update. Um, but mine's never been used charging on this one. I never did charge anything through this. I never even used the gosh dang USB port. But me being a trucker, there's a lot. I work in a dump truck, so a lot of dust, a lot of particles inside the cab, whatever have you. Best place for me to put this is I put it in my cup holder. A lot of dust goes down that area, even you can't help it. So dust has gotten down into my port, and it will work. Um, it will work for the charging part. I found out because that's the one thing. When I plugged it in, it started to do it. But as a data transfer, it won't do it. And I've tried that on both computers, and I've tried different freaking cords, so I know it is the thing. And there's also you have to wiggle it side to side. So something obviously in the connection kind of messed up. I mean, honestly, it's something that could be done. I think very cheaply on the fly for manufacturers. I mean, honestly, it'd be in manufacturing specs. You're talking about cents, like to a couple
Yeah, and
cents
it
to put it
wouldn't
in.
it wouldn't really take much to let me push the back in. Let me get it back out. It, all right. So what you have to understand is with the Aegis Legend, it is recessed. And you would still, like, you may look at the Pulse 80 watt and be like, there's not enough room to do that. There actually is. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not even affected. It doesn't even have. The thing is, it's like even with the design that I'm thinking of, because what do you use the USB for? You use it for data transfer mainly, and they suggest in the manuals that in only dire situations ever use it for charging. Right? They would suggest that you even don't do it. Period. So the only time that you would ever have it exposed anyway is to do those two things. If and most of the time just doing data transfers. So to even have just to keep it the way it is here and just put a plug into it right there, what would that have been? You know what I mean? Because all you would have to do is just make sure when you had it out doing the data transfer, you just put it right next to the computer and then you just pop it right back in and then you would never have to worry about it.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
It's just something they could have done, they didn't do. And a lot of companies do that. Even on the cheaper bracket, I have that Vapor Storm Puma or whatever it is.
It's Puma.
Is it Puma? Yeah, it's made out of like that ABS plastic or whatever. Real nice soft
It,
hand.
it's rubberized plastic, but that's besides the point.
Well, that's my point. It's rubberized plastic. It's got that nice soft feel or whatever it is, and they even went to the final details to put rubberized pieces over type the buttons, like your fire button and your control buttons. But again, they left the freaking port open. It's like, why don't you just go along with the whole freaking rubberized thing and just put another like a rubber plug in it? because and then that would even make sense for its because that thing's totally aesthetic, because that's why they use the plastic, because so they can do fancy designs on the cheap and do like that nice printing on it and stuff, and they have that graffiti look and all that jazz, and that's why they put the buttons in there to match it. Then they leave a big gaping hole in it.
Yeah. But no, like I said, personally, I'm tired of seeing micro USB. Like you should, at this point, in this day and age, with every phone except for iPhones going to micro USB, I think it's about time for the vape industry to switch to micro USB.
Oh, you mean C?
Yeah, C. Sorry, I'm tired.
Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's a late one. Yeah,
It's
I
also
totally
an
agree.
early
I think-
one because I have to leave Saturday.
Right. Well, yeah, early for the mod mouth, but late in the day.
I could actually tell you guys what time it is right now.
For you, it is 12:31. For me, it is 1:31.
Yeah. Now I want to talk about this 90 watt update. So I have a single coil in here. Cotton probably needs to be changed again, but single coil. First off, I don't notice a difference with the 80 watt. It doesn't make a fucking difference to me. It doesn't seem any more powerful, but we'll go ahead and turn it up to 80 watts. Alright, 80. Now there might be a slight difference, I'm not really too sure, but okay, you see that? That thing is billowing vapors.
Yeah.
I will crank her up to 90. No fucking difference.
I mean, there's a slight difference, but nothing that you would even really notice in the freaking hit. I mean, I don't know. I just think that, and the thing is, it being a single battery, it obviously does every time you freaking hit it, it goes down in freaking strength anyway. So it's like, I don't know. It's a cool idea, I guess. I mean, but are you really getting the 90 watts anyway?
Probably not. Also, I don't understand why they settled at fucking 90 watts. Like, why didn't you just round it to 100?
Well, I mean, I guess they didn't. I mean, it already sounds far fetched as it is.
Well, the original Aegis, I believe, was 100 watts. Let me fucking see.
Well, that's.
Where's my screen? It's okay. There we go.
Not too sure. Doesn't that rock? What is the Aegis rocking at chip wise?
I'm not sure.
I don't know either. I don't have one, but
Alright,
I don't
so
know.
it says
I mean-
right here, the Geek Vape Aegis 100 watt temperature control box mod delivers the complete output device in the market designed to withstand tough environments. Okay. Let's see if it says what chipset's in it. I'm pretty sure it's probably a Geek Vape proprietary chipset.
Probably.
Yes, I'm of legal smoking age. Shout out to elementvapes.com because they actually, like, are you legal smoking age? They don't have if you're like 21 or over. I think that shit's so stupid. Seriously, you vape sites need to stop using are you 21 and over, because vaping is, you can vape at the age of 18.
Mm.
Let's see. Okay, that's not telling me anything.
It is. I think it is a problem that's kind of run rampant. I think. I mean, again, like me being my age, I really don't look at like age limits and shit very much, but it's still, for some reason, it still bothers me.
Yeah.
That's, I also think that about. I mean, like, side note, I always thought that about the drinking age. I always thought that that was a stupid concept that it's 21 when you can enlist in the military at 18 years old. You're not. You're old enough for us to strap a gosh dang freaking rifle to you, and you go soldier on while people go shoot at you. But you're not old enough to enjoy a beer, with your buddies afterwards. It's like
So apparently, from I couldn't find it, but from what I've read, the chip that's in the Geek Vape Aegis, and I believe the Aegis Legend, are made by Geek Vape.
yeah, I mean like
And you got to keep in mind that that the Aegis, the original Aegis, wasn't rocking a 2700, wasn't rocking a 21700. It was rocking a 26650, and somehow it managed to produce 100 watts. I'm pretty sure you can get away with the 100 watts on this.
I'm sure you could. Theoretically. I guess it just depends on the. I mean, that's what they're doing right now. I mean, right now they're just kind of going through the paces, trying to figure out what this Vandy Vape chip can do. Because I mean, like this is if I'm not mistaken, I think this is one of the one of the only Vandy Vape mods, isn't it?
I think it's the only regulated. Like, I know they had the original Vandy Vape Pulse, which was technically mechanical. But I think they only made like tanks, RDAs, and shit like that.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I guess.
So
I
I mean,
on my phone too.
That's what I'm thinking that it is. So I mean, like if that's the case, then this is kind of just like I mean, they don't know what their chip's actually capable of. I guess if they, you fine tune that, maybe you could get 100 watts out of it. But at this point, maybe it's just not tuned properly enough. That's why you have the X that came out, which was basically this without the update or whatever, and it allows it to use a 21.
Well, they do have. Well, this doesn't really. I don't classify it as a fucking mod, or not a. Yeah, well, I don't classify it as mod, but they do have the Vandy Vape NS Pen 9-watt starter kit, which is technically it's a mix. I think it's somewhat regulated, but then it's not.
Ooh.
We'll see the Vandy Vape Pulse BF 80 watt. They made a lot of like starter kits. They have the Berserker starter kit. But as far as anything variable wattage wise, I think this is their first.
I think so. But I mean, it's like the X too. It's like the Pulse X was it came out, and the only difference is really their power supply wise. You can use a 21700, 2700, and a 18650, all three. And that was what was boasting the whole 90 watts was only when you were able. It's only when you were rocking a 21700. The other two would just put you up to 80 watts. Now, the only thing about the kit that I thought was interesting is, honestly, the modded stuff really never was like, yeah, I got to get that. It was really more about the RDA for me. I always thought the RDA was an interesting, innovative design with that whole, like, fountain squonk kind of going on there.
Yeah,
and then
it's
kind of
a
gets sucked up
funky
to the bottom.
RDA.
I want to get my hands on it. I think they sell it separately from the kit, and I want to kind of grab one. But
Oh, well, you'll probably get a wild hair up your ass and end up upgrading to the X.
I probably will. I mean, that's more than likely. But well, I mean, yeah, since this one won't update anyway, so I might as well, go venture out. But anyway,
manufacturers start putting plugs on your fucking things so we don't have a beast issue over here.
Right. I just think it's like, I mean, if you're, normal situations, I'm sure that it's not, more of a problem than it could be. But I mean, it could happen just even in your, even in your computer room, if you have even if you're just like a person who vapes at the house and you have another device that goes out and freaking some people use are starting to use those pods on everyday use until you get back to the house and then do your mod vaping at your home in your leisure.
I swap up between the two.
I do too. Like sometimes in the truck, I'm starting to bring my my Boulder or whatever it is, just because it's just so pop it in the front pocket and ready to go. But even with that situation, I mean, eventually there's dust everywhere you go, and if it gets in there, when you leave it open like that, you're just asking for trouble. And it wouldn't, like I said, like we were saying before, it's literally cents on the dollar for manufacturers to put it on there. It wouldn't even really affect the retail price at all. I mean, maybe a cent here or whatever it is or whatever, but it wouldn't kill the company to do it. It would be nice. I think it would be a nice gesture. It would make the front of the mod look a lot better. Or, I mean, or any mod. I mean, that's just any company. I mean, wherever you put it at, it would be flush at that period instead of that ugly hole.
Yeah.
So, food for thought. Hopefully, I mean, if there is any designers that watch this mod mouth, which hopefully eventually they will, maybe I'll take that as a hint.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know exactly why they did it, but we called it. Or we didn't call it. We said they should have just made an update. And look, they did.
That's true. Rowan X was popping out. It was a gimmick to sell more freaking mods. I mean, I almost thought it was a stab, but because they did the same thing with the Pulse unregulated to the Pulse 80 watt. They hinted about an 80 watt, and then it turned out to be an unregulated. Then they're like, oh, well, this is the mod that we were supposed to bring out, which was the 80 watts. So you're like, oh, that's the device right there. That's what it was. So the other one was just to see how the market took that design, and so it was like, okay, we heard that before, and now you get the 80 watt, and then they do the same thing, like, but really, this is what we had in mind, and you're like, you're just toying with my emotions at this point. It's like,
and you know the sad part is, actually, I'll grab it real quick. I mean, if you look at it and compare them side by side, the designs are technically kind of different. This is, I don't know why they should have just made this one bigger. This one's too small.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know. You probably wouldn't be able to do it with the 2700, but they could have probably made this one smaller. Because you have to understand the fact, like, yeah, it takes an 18650, but not everybody has 2700s.
Right.
Honestly, I think 2700 is too new of a battery. Like, literally, I found very, very few battery wraps for 2700s. But if you look at them, yes, they're kind of shaped the same. They got the same overall thing. But if you look at this is a lot thinner. The bottles are definitely different.
Oh, God, don't get me started about that bottle.
This bottle sucks ass. This bottle, I fucking love.
Right. The new Pulse bottle is absolutely fantastic. The old one, I mean, it was nice and soft, but it was a leaker from hell when you freaking try to fill that sucker.
Yeah, I accidentally squeezed it a little too hard, and the fucking juice goes everywhere. And do not get me started. I was talk about this shit again. Do not get me started on the fucking Pulse RDA. That RDA sucked. The first version of it, what was it, the 22 millimeter RDA? A lot of people loved it. Everybody fucking hates this piece of shit. It leaks. It's easy to over squonk. It's just overall not a good RDA.
Mind you, it did when you did learn how to use the Squonk, which you didn't. Like it's just a very touchy system. I will give it one thing: flavor on that motherfucker was fantastic.
When you have powerful enough mods to actually fucking run it, because let's face it, the original Pulse mod sucked ass.
Right, and that's what I didn't get. Why didn't they ever see? That's another thing I was bringing up. Why didn't they ever come out with a kit for this to have the Pulse 24 on it? That's just something I never got. It was just a standalone mod. That's all they ever packaged us. Why didn't they ever put the, if they never had the original Pulse, then they wouldn't have a Pulse RDA for it.
Well, I'm going to say right here, I love this mod. As you can tell, I started using it again. I love it. But this thing sucks for dual coils.
Oh, yeah, it does.
So it would really make no sense to... obviously, if you really wanted to, by some chance, you could run a single coil RDA in the Pulse 24, but should have just included the Pulse 22 with this.
Or make I think they should have beefed up the gosh dang 22 to a 40 or 24 millimeter to fit the gosh dang freaking frame of it, and that'd be badass as shit. Made it for this device.
They should have done something. I think a lot more people would have bought this if it was an actual fucking kit.
Oh yeah. I mean,
people are. I'm literally gonna say this. Yeah, you can get the recurve and all that. The recurve is nice.
Oh, the recurve is nice.
But this was like what, $50 to $80?
Yeah.
Then you tack on another $30 for the recurve.
Yeah.
Well, you're sitting at what, a little over $100?
Yep.
It would just be cheaper to release a kit. You would definitely sell more.
Oh yeah, you would.
But I think that's pretty much it. We don't want this video to get too long. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to S13 the Beast, or S13 _ the Beast. Anyways, guys, this is Beast and Caliber signing out.